Hey everyone, it's Angus here from Boss Fitness, and welcome to this video where I'm going to be sharing with you about how men versus women and how training should go likewise. So what that means is that should women train like men when it comes to fat loss? So this is going to be talking about things like, say for instance, if I train with weights while I get bulky, I don't want to train heavy because I may end up looking like a bodybuilder. This is going to be focusing on nailing all things training for all of you ladies out there so that you can get the best possible fat loss results from the time and effort that you're putting in towards, committing to your training rather than just willy-nilly cruising around or focusing on toning, thinking that it's going to help you to get to your goal quicker. Really hope you enjoy it. You're going to have some awesome practical steps that you can put into place and some also example workouts that you can check out to sort of get things going forward a heck of a lot faster. So I'm someone that believes that women should rock out like men in the gym about 90% of the time. So there's a few subtle differences between the two of them, and obviously vice versa. But pretty much when it comes to women, they've got about 60 or so percent, equal strength when it comes to lower body strength compared to men, and about 40 or 50% when it comes to upper body strength compared to men. So when it comes to actually constructing your own workout program and certain things that you should be taking on board and focusing on to make sure that there aren't any imbalances between your body, and to sort of like make sure that you don't set yourself up for injury, there's some key things you want to be focusing on. The first one of these is one limb at a time. So what I mean by this is pretty much unilateral. This is pretty much like, say for instance, when you're doing bench presses or squats or things like that. That's what we call bilateral movements, mean that we're using both limbs or two joints at the same time. So say for instance like bench press, where you're using both your hands, you're pressing the bar and contracting your muscles to squeeze the bar upwards, aren't you? So for instance squats, you're using both your legs at the same time. Deadlifts, both your legs at the same time. Bent over rows, both of your arms and contracting through both of your lats at the same time. So when it comes to unilateral movements, this refers to using one limb at a time to make sure that you can work out and sort of defer any imbalances between two or more limbs at the same time. So if we're looking at, say, squats, for example, what you want to be doing here is doing like single-legged squats. I myself can't actually do it without any sort of support. So what I like to do is hang on to some sort of pole or like a TRX cord or just like some sort of bench just by my side to make sure that I can actually get full depth. But the idea here when you think about it is that you can try it for yourself right now. You're going to see a heck of a lot of your ankle flexors and extensors working in stabilizers to help you to actually be able to squat down effectively. This also works a lot of your core muscles as well because you're having a hard time keeping yourself balanced because you're only using obviously one of your limbs compared to both. So doing things like this, like in your program, especially if you're someone that's of a higher sort of training caliber or an athlete, is going to have massive benefit for you based on the fact that it's going to help you to make sure that your right side isn't stronger than your left, and to just make sure that they're both working in sync. And then when it comes to you putting them both together, so say after doing a bit of unilateral work, when you go back towards full range squats and stuff with both of your limbs, you're going to be able to squat a heck of a lot better and with more function and obviously just strength as well, which is what we're after here. Number two is booty building. So specifically for women, you really want to make sure that you're working more of your glutes. Men can get away with this a bit more, but specifically for women, you want to make sure that you're doing some certain things to make sure that your bum isn't going to get left behind here. So that therefore you've got a real rounded ass rather than a pancake butt. Okay. So obviously most of you ladies, you'll work probably a desk job, I'm guessing, so therefore you're sitting down during the day, and then obviously you sit down in your car when you drive to the gym, and then you sit you sit down on your bum at home when you're in the couch. So that pretty much means that you're going to have weak glutes or something where your hamstrings are all nice and tight. So therefore it means that your glutes are sort of going to be a bit of an inferior body part. So we want to make sure that we're strengthening them on a regular basis. So to make sure that your hamstrings don't take over, there's a few specific exercises that you can be doing and putting into your routine to make sure that your glutes are becoming stronger and more rounded, because the glutes are a pretty big body part. They're actually involved in a lot of movements beyond just squats and stuff. So making sure that you got strong glutes will help to, have stronger knees as well. It'll mean that you won't get lower back pain, and it'll also mean that you'll just, look a heck of a lot better because of the fact that you, have got this nice rounded ass filling out your jeans rather than just a pancake butt. Okay. Some fantastic exercises you can be doing to actually build your booty up beyond what you're doing now are things like hyperextension. So where you've got your bum fixed in and you're just sort of elevating through like this, pivoting from your bum. That's really going to work your lower back and your glutes as well. Things like high and wide squats to make sure that you're using more of your glutes rather than your quads. Things like high and wide position leg press to make sure that you're really just firing up those glutes and hamstrings. Then you've got things like glute bridges, which is pretty much kind of like hip thrusts. You can even do that in the Smith machine as well, like I like to do recently, which is where you've got your shoulders pinned to a actual bench, and therefore you're getting really nice range of motion through it. You can do things like glute kickbacks, which are obviously weighted as well, rather than the bodyweight donkey kicks, and just like things like that, just to really make sure that you're strengthening through your rear and just making sure that you've got glutes of steel that are therefore going to benefit you in more ways than none. Next one is to dedicate yourself to your core. So this is one that men can get away with based on the fact that because men will naturally lift more than women, because of the fact that they're naturally stronger through things like deadlifts and squats and stuff like that. They're going to naturally recruit a heck of a lot more of their core strength to obviously stabilize their spine and stuff through their actual squats and deadlifts and stuff movements. So for you ladies, you want to make sure that you're isolating your abs a good 2 or 3 times per week. This can be in the form of at the end of a workout or at the start of a workout even, or even thrown in as part of like a superset where you say you're doing maybe some deadlifts, then you go straight over and just do some crunches, or maybe some weighted ab crunches or something like that. But the idea here is just to make sure that you've got that strong core, which is going to help your lifts so much better, and also just mean that you're going to have a heck of a lot more carved midsection, specifically also if you combine that with some solid flexible nutrition protocol, so hitting your calories, hitting your macros, and just making sure that you're consistent within those areas. Number 4 is ditch some of the machines. So you want to make sure that you aren't relying solely on machines within your actual your workout protocol. Make sure that you've got a good mix of free weights, some actual bodyweight exercises, and then a small amount of machines. Okay, reason being is that you ladies have got what we call hypermobility issues. So in other words, not all of you, some of you may have this, but it pretty much refers to it's very easy for you to be too flexible and therefore hyperextend yourself from certain joints. So an example is, say, leg extensions. Obviously when you're sitting down, you've got your legs in that nice fixed position and you're flexing through your quads to raise the weight up. So rather than just finishing like this, some of you ladies would go like that, which is going to have obviously damaging that damaging factor upon your knees and obviously upon your flexors and stuff. So just be careful, really make sure you're controlling the weight. Feel the weight throughout its entire range of motion, and just make sure you're squeezing the muscle like it owes you money. That way you're going to get the best sort of bang for your buck from every single rep, regardless of what the exercise may be. Lift heavy things, so don't be afraid of going into, say, rep schemes where you're hitting, say, 4 to 6, rather than, say, conventional ways for chicks of training, which is, say, 12 to 15 or 15 to 20 all the time, because that's apparently going to tone you better. You want to make sure that you get a really nice mix of actual, rep schemes, set schemes as well, just to make sure that you're really stimulating both the different types of muscle fibers within your legs and within your upper body. And you want to make sure that just because you don't want to have, really thick thighs or whatever, you still want to make sure that you're isolating legs a good amount of time, and you want to make sure that you're not leaving behind any sort of part in your upper body as well. So when it comes to having that really nice proportion that you want, this means that you can't just say leave behind arms because you've already got maybe some big arms already. You still want to make sure that you're stimulating regular muscle stimulus, wear and tear within the muscle fibers, just to make sure that nothing gets left behind, and therefore you're building the ultimate physique overall. So for some actual workout examples, you want to make sure that you're actually checking out the blog link which is attached to this video, because this is where you're going to find some actual key workouts you can be doing as part of like a structure with 4 key workouts across a week to make sure that you can establish a bit of a base protocol for your workouts, and to make sure that therefore you're getting the best bang from your buck from the time that you're putting into the gym. But this will revolve pretty much just around compound lifts, so barbells work, free weights work, a slight bit of machine work, but then also some body weight work as well, to make sure that you're sort of getting the whole spectrum here when it comes to actually building a lean, tight and toned body, and focusing towards fat loss. Okay, so sticking to these principles that I've taught you here, ladies, is going to mean a world of difference in terms of moving yourself towards that tight and toned body that we've been speaking about here. Okay, so fat loss is obviously a massive topic in itself, but when it comes to training, don't be scared of training like a beast. Don't be scared of going heavy. Don't be scared of training like men, because that's what's actually going to get you the great results that you want. But if you're someone who struggles in terms of the whole spectrum here, how nutrition comes into play here, how an effective structure and routine comes into play here, or even just how you can't really understand how sustainability comes into the factor here, well, then I'd love to organise a actual free time to chat with you with a fat loss strategy call. So this is something you can get amongst by clicking the link below, which you'll see attached to this video. And basically what this will be is a 10 to 15 minute chat, completely free between you and myself, where I can help you to pinpoint your problems, how we can turn them into solutions, and just to really spur you forward so that we can triple your way to fat loss and to get you moving forward. It's been an absolute pleasure sharing with you today. Thanks so much for checking in. Until next time, take care.